You are 20 years old, standing in a candlelit room in Ingolstadt, Bavaria, 1776. A man you trust hands you a blindfold. Behind that door is a secret so dangerous men have been exiled for speaking its name. You don't know it yet, but you're about to stop being a student and start becoming something the world will spend 250 years fearing and fabricating. This is not a myth. This is real, and you're about to live it rank by rank.
Level 0. The Recruitment. It's 1776. Bavaria is ruled by the Catholic Church and a suspicious monarchy that watches every book, every lecture, every whispered idea. You are a law student at the University of Ingolstadt, hungry for knowledge the church won't let you touch. A professor named Adam Weishaupt has built something no one else has dared to build. A secret order designed to smuggle Enlightenment ideas past the censors, rank by rank, mind by mind. He calls it the Order of the Illuminati. Tonight, you are being recruited. You have no idea this decision will consume the rest of your life.
Level 1. The Novice. The blindfold comes off, and the first thing you see is a single candle on a bare table. A man in a plain robe, no symbols, no ornamentation, asks you 3 questions. Why do you want knowledge? Who do you serve? What are you willing to sacrifice? You answer honestly, because you don't yet know that dishonesty here is impossible to hide. They call you a novice. It sounds small. It isn't. As a novice, you are told almost nothing about the order's true structure. You don't know who runs it. You don't know how large it is. You are assigned a mentor, an insinuator who watches you in silence for months, testing your discretion, your temper, your loyalty. You are handed forbidden books, Enlightenment philosophy banned by the church, ideas about reason, liberty, and the corruption of unchecked power. You read them in secret, by candlelight, terrified of being caught.
This is where the fear starts. Not fear of the order, fear of everyone outside it. Your own priest, your own family. One wrong word at dinner, and you could be finished before you've even begun. You start noticing small things you never noticed before. Who lingers a little too long near a conversation? Who asks questions that feel too specific? The world outside these walls hasn't changed, but the way you move through it has. Trust has become a currency, and you've just spent your first coin on people you barely know. Weeks pass. Then your mentor asks you to write a full biography of yourself, your habits, your weaknesses, your ambitions, your enemies. You hand over your entire life on paper, not knowing that document will follow you for the rest of your time in the order, used to judge whether you can be trusted with the truths still waiting above you. You've just given away your privacy for the promise of purpose, and it's only the first rank.
Level 2. The Minerval. 9 months of silence and observation. Then, one night, you're brought before a small circle of men, no more than a dozen, in a private meeting room disguised as a reading society. They call themselves Minervals, named for Minerva, goddess of wisdom. This is the first time you see the order's real face. You learn there is a structure above you, an invisible hierarchy of men in cities across Bavaria, coordinating in secret through coded letters and false names. You are given your own alias. From this point forward, you are never referred to by your real name inside the order again. Weishaupt himself goes by Spartacus. You choose a name of your own, a small electric moment where you feel yourself becoming someone new.
The Minervals meet to discuss philosophy, science, and the failures of the church and the monarchy. For the first time, you feel less like a student.
and more like a conspirator. It's intoxicating. It's also the first moment you understand the real danger. If these meetings were discovered, philosophy would not save you from prison. A rival Minerval, a sharp-tongued nobleman's son, begins competing with you for the attention of your superiors. It's not open hostility. It's colder than that. Every meeting becomes a quiet contest of who understands more, who is trusted more, who rises faster.
One night after the meeting, your rival walks beside you in the dark and, for a moment, drops the competition entirely. He admits he's frightened too, of being discovered, of disappointing men he's never even met. It's the first time you realize the order doesn't just create rivals. It creates a strange kind of brotherhood between people who are technically fighting each other. You realize the order isn't just testing your mind, it's testing your ambition. Level 3, Illuminatus Minor. 2 years in, you've proven your discretion. Now they show you the deeper machinery. As an Illuminatus Minor, you're finally told the truth. The order isn't just a reading circle. It's a deliberate infiltration strategy. Members are being placed, quietly, patiently, into universities, courts, government offices, and even the church itself. The goal isn't rebellion, it's influence. Change the men who hold power, and you change the world without ever firing a shot. For the first time, you're given real responsibility. Recruiting a new novice of your own. You must find someone brilliant, discreet, and morally pliable enough to be shaped, without ever revealing to them what they're truly joining. Not yet. You spend weeks studying a young clerk at the university, testing his opinions in casual conversation, deciding if he's worthy. The clerk you've been studying finally agrees to meet you for what he thinks is an ordinary conversation about philosophy. You watch his face as you test ideas about power and corruption, searching for a flicker of danger, pride, loose lips, a temper. When he passes, the relief that floods through you feels almost as intense as the responsibility that follows it. This is the moment the order stops being something done to you and starts being something you do to others. It should feel like power. Instead, it feels heavier than you expected. You are responsible for someone else's fate now. If you choose wrong, if your recruit talks, panics, or betrays the order, the consequences fall on you. Your rival from the Minerval circle is recruiting too, and faster than you. The competition sharpens. So does the fear. Weishaupt has made it clear. Outstanding members rise. Weak links are quietly cut from the order, and no one ever fully learns what cut means. Level 4, Illuminatus Major, the Scottish Novice. By now, you've done something almost none of the founding members expected. The order has decided to merge with Freemasonry, borrowing its grades and its lodges as cover. You are inducted into a Masonic-style rank, the Scottish Novice, and for the first time, you attend meetings not in a hidden apartment, but inside an actual Masonic lodge, surrounded by respected merchants, officials, and noblemen who have no idea how deep your true loyalty runs. Inside the lodge, you shake hands with men whose portraits hang in the town hall, officials who set laws by day, and unknowingly sit beside members of a banned philosophy by night. The double life becomes exhausting. You rehearse your public face in the mirror before every meeting, terrified that one slip of expression could betray 9 years of discipline. This is the most dangerous rank yet, because it's the most exposed. You are now moving in elite social circles, close to real political power, while carrying secrets that could destroy careers, including your own. You're finally shown a partial map of the Order's reach,
Cells not just in Bavaria, but spreading into Austria, into other German states, into networks of educated men across Europe who've never met each other, but answer to the same invisible structure. The scale terrifies you. You had thought you were part of something small and clever. You now understand you're part of something that could reshape a continent if it isn't destroyed first. And here's the twist that changes everything. You begin to suspect the order isn't as unified as it claims. Behind Weishaupt, another founder, Baron Adolf von Knigge, a charismatic aristocrat who brought hundreds of new members and the entire Masonic structure into the order, is quietly building his own influence. Two ambitious men, one order. You can feel the fracture coming before anyone admits it out loud. Level 5. Illuminatus Dirigens, the Scottish Knight. You are no longer being tested. You are now doing the testing. As a Scottish Knight, you are trusted to oversee a lodge, a cell of your own, filled with novices and Minervals who see you the way you once saw your own mentor, as an authority whose true depth they can't yet measure. It's strange to be on this side of the blindfold. One of your own Minervals comes to you in a panic, convinced a stranger followed him home from a meeting. It's probably nothing, but probably isn't good enough anymore. You spend a sleepless night rehearsing what you'd say if soldiers knocked on your door before dawn, and realize you don't have a good answer. But the cracks Weishaupt and Knigge have been hiding finally split open. The two men clash, not over philosophy, but over control. Knigge believes the order should be more mystical, more Masonic, more emotionally magnetic to attract powerful new members. Weishaupt believes mysticism is a betrayal of the order's rational Enlightenment core. You are forced to choose sides in a war between the two men who built the world you now belong to. Choosing wrong here doesn't just cost you standing. It could cost you your place in the order entirely. At the same time, rumors reach you that the Bavarian government has started watching secret societies more closely. Freemasonry is already under suspicion. If anyone connects your Masonic lodge to the deeper Illuminati structure hiding inside it, everything, your career, your freedom, possibly your life, collapses. You've climbed 5 ranks to get here. For the first time, you understand that the higher you rise, the more you have to lose. Level 6. Presbyter, Priest of the Mysteries. You are inducted into the Lesser Mysteries. The name alone tells you this is no longer a society. It's something closer to a faith. As a presbyter, you are finally shown the philosophical core Weishaupt has been building towards since the beginning. A vision of humanity governed not by kings or priests, but by reason and moral self-mastery. Radical ideas for 1780. Ideas about equality, about the corrupting nature of inherited power, about a future where organized religion no longer dictates the terms of a man's conscience. It is thrilling. It is also, you now fully understand, treasonous in the eyes of both the church and the crown. Knigge, exhausted by his conflict with Weishaupt and increasingly uneasy about the order's direction, resigns and walks away entirely. It's a gut punch. The man who brought hundreds of talented members, including you, into deeper structure is simply gone. You realize even the architects of secret power are not immune to burning out, falling out, or losing the war for control. You write letters in cipher now, every sentence coded, every name replaced with a symbol only a handful of men can read. It should feel like power. Instead, each letter you burn after reading feels like erasing a piece of your own life. Proof that you existed, disappearing into ash before anyone else can find it. Membership is now estimated in the thousands, spread across the German states. Some of the most surprising names in Europe are rumored to have joined lodges touched by the order's influence. But the larger the order grows, the harder it becomes to control who talks, who panics, who brags in the wrong tavern after too much wine. You begin hearing a word you've never had to think about before: exposure. Level 7. Princeps, Regent. You are now one of the men who governs, not just belongs. As a regent, you help direct entire provinces of the order's structure, approving new lodges, settling disputes, deciding which members are trustworthy enough to rise further. And then, in 1784, the blow lands. Elector Karl Theodor, ruler of Bavaria, issues an edict banning all secret societies not authorized by the state. It's aimed squarely at Freemasonry and at you. A year later, a second, sharper edict names the Illuminati specifically. Membership becomes a crime. A soldier stops you in the street to ask directions, nothing more, and your heart still hammers for an hour afterward. You start burning documents you swore you'd keep forever, your original biography, your first coded letters, the small proofs of who you used to be. Destroying your own history feels like a second, quieter kind of exile. You watch the order you helped build become a hunted thing overnight. Members panic. Some destroy their letters. Some flee the country. Some, in a betrayal that guts you personally, go to the authorities and confess everything they know in exchange for leniency, handing over names, rituals, internal letters, years of secrets to save themselves. Weishaupt is stripped of his university position and forced to flee Bavaria, exiled for the rest of his life. You now hold real power inside a real hierarchy, and it is collapsing around you in real time. Every decision you make now isn't philosophical, it's survival. Level 8. Magus. Few members ever reach this rank, and by the time you do, it barely matters anymore. The greater mysteries, Magus and the final rank of Rex, were the Order's unfinished ambition, a final philosophical stage meant to complete Weishaupt's vision of the fully enlightened individual, unbound by superstition or blind obedience. Most historians agree these final grades were never fully developed before everything came apart. You are one of a handful who glimpses what it was meant to become, a doctrine, never finished, of the free and self-governing mind. You hold this incomplete, dangerous knowledge in a country that has just made it illegal to possess. Confiscated papers from raided members' homes are published by the government. Private letters, internal debates, even embarrassing personal confessions turned into public propaganda to paint the order as far more sinister and coordinated than the fractured, arguing, increasingly desperate organization you actually experienced from the inside. You watch your own secret life become someone else's story, twisted into something almost unrecognizable. You read a pamphlet sold openly in the market, describing the order you belong to as monstrous, all-controlling, almost supernatural, written by a man who was never a member and never sat in a single meeting. You laugh bitterly, because it's the most powerful anyone has ever made you sound, and you've never felt smaller. This is the moment you understand. History is not going to remember what actually happened to you. It's going to remember what people find useful to believe. Level 9. The ending that never came. Rex. The final rank was never truly reached. Not by you, not by almost anyone. By 1785, the order is effectively destroyed inside Bavaria. Weishaupt is gone. Lodges are shuttered. Members scatter into silence, changing their names back, burning their letters, returning to ordinary lives as lawyers, professors, and officials who will never speak of this again. You are left holding the ashes of something you gave 9 years of your life to build. You will spend the rest of your ordinary life as a lawyer, a professor, a quiet family man, reading occasional rumors about the secret order you once belonged to, each one wilder than the last. You never correct them. You can't. The one truth you carry and can never speak is worth more than any myth ever will be. But here is the strange, haunting final twist of your story. The Illuminati's death is not the end of the Illuminati's legend. It's the beginning of it. Within a decade, writers across Europe, reacting to the shock of the French Revolution, begin claiming, without real evidence, that your order secretly orchestrated it all. Then the myth keeps growing. Decade after decade, century after century, new generations attach the name Illuminati to whatever hidden power they fear most. Banking dynasties, world governments, celebrities, global conspiracies with no connection whatsoever to the actual 9-year Bavarian society you lived and lost everything for. The real Illuminati was small, fractured, hunted, and dead within a decade. The legend became immortal, global, and almost entirely fictional.
Level 10. The Legend. You started this journey as a 20-year-old law student, handing over your name for a candle and a promise. You end it as a man in his 30s, watching the government publish your private letters as propaganda, while your name quietly disappears from history. One line in a police report, one confiscated letter in a Bavarian archive. You never ruled the world. You never controlled a single king, bank, or nation. What you actually built, you and a few thousand ordinary, ambitious, frightened men like you, was something far more human, an attempt to smuggle dangerous ideas past dangerous men, using nothing but discretion, ambition, and a shared secret.
Somewhere, centuries after your last breath, a stranger will speak your order's name in a language you never heard, in a country you never visited, convinced it still secretly rules the world. They will never know your real name. They will never know the fear, the friendship, the failure, or the 9 quiet years you actually lived. It failed. It was crushed in less than a decade. And yet, 250 years later, the world still whispers your order's name, not because of what you actually did, but because of what people needed you to have done. That's the final truth waiting at the top of every rank you climbed. Some legacies aren't built by history. They're built by the myths history leaves behind. And in the end, that gap between what you were and what you became in legend is the truest ending your story could ever have.